Hello, dear friends. Let me see. Are we live or not? Hopefully we are. Let me just check my. I think I should. Okay, let's go. Let me see. Can you hear me or not? Let's see. Can you hear me? I think you can. Yes, we are live. Hello. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, dear friends, dear viewers. So today we will be analyzing some games and especially all the games of Matthias Blübaum, new European champion, and also another tournament, some games from recent tournament in Uzbekistan, and especially all games of, or many games of Nihal Sarin, and maybe even some more games. Let's start. Okay, let's see here. Matthias Blübaum, he started with the win against 23-17 rated player. Let me just have and rent some engine that we can analyze. Okay, this one looks good. More or less it's okay. I will just do this. Okay. Blübaum is playing black pieces. Okay, Slav defense, bishop g5, and here instead of bishop h4, opponent goes and takes the pawn on f6, knight on f6, takes, e3, g6, and many moves are possible, bishop d3, yes, d takes c is possible move, bishop g7, short castle, d takes c, but short castle, and e4. Yes, here black is having several moves. One of them is queen d8, the other is to take on c4. Also c5 move is possible, d takes c, knight takes c4, queen d8, and c5, the strongest continuation. And now the best move is to play e5. If you take knight e5, I guess queen d4 is coming, and d takes c, bishop e6. And Matthias goes b6. Yes, some moves are possible, like queen e2, queen c2. And now, instead of going bishop a6 and trying to equalize the position, Matthias plays bishop d4. Computer doesn't like this move at all. Takes, rook a d1, queen g7. And now Matthias is in some trouble after knight d6 or b4. Knight d7. And here knight d6. More than 1.4. Yes, you go knight d6, you threaten bishop e4. Queen c1. Yes, possible move, king h7. Rook e1. B takes c. Yes, knight c5, white is still better. And now f5. Knight d6, e5. And we are having quite complicated position. Black is not worse. Yes, queen c3 computer doesn't like. e4 takes. And now this is very unpleasant. Only move is bishop e4, f takes c, knight c8, knight c5. But the white player went bishop f1, knight c5, rook c1, knight b7, rook takes, knight takes, rook f6. If I play rook d8, most likely bishop b7. It was this, bishop e6, a3, bishop b3. Yes, this is completely winning. Takes, rook d6, king e5, takes, and rook c8. g4, rook c1, and bishop d1. Bishop f3 is very unpleasant threat. Yes, check, takes, and check. And now rook c2, threatening this pawn on f2, and taking the pawn. This is completely lost, of course. This, e2, and then rook f3, rook e3. I wouldn't say very easy win for Matthias, because at some point after before knight d7, knight d6, white had a very promising position, much better. And you know, after knight d6, if opponent would manage to play, I have very big doubts that Matthias would win this game. Okay, let's go and find second game, second round. Okay, second round, we are having Matthias Bluebaum most likely with the white pieces. Yes, against Mosesov, 24-62. And knight f3, Nimzo knight f3, b6. We go c3, bishop b7, bishop d3, short castle, and here d5 move is possible, c5 is possible, maybe some other moves as well. So here I know this knight a4 move, which is the, I would say maybe main continuation. C takes d takes c, rook e8. Matthias goes rook e1. Maybe some prep, maybe he played it over the board. d5, d6 is working. Bishop c3 is also possible. Even bishop f3 is possible. Bishop f3, queen f3, knight c6. It was d5. Takes, a3. Takes, and now something like knight e4, black is okay. Bishop b2, knight c6. It was knight c6. Takes, c4. And maybe white is already slightly preferable. Takes, knight a5. Bishop a2, strongest continuation. And now c4. So bishop d5. Queen c2 or queen a4 even. Again c4. This takes. Matthias goes c4, knight c3. Queen c2, knight b5. Bishop f4. He goes bishop d2. Knight d4. Takes, bishop b4. And now queen a4. Knight b3, queen b3, a5. Of course, white is better, but not winning. That would have been the strongest. And now bishop c5. Knight d2. Again, knight b2. You go some queen d4, knight d3. Knight d2, bishop d4. And now black does not have any compensation. Rook a d1 would finish the game. Bishop c3. Rook c8. Takes, rook d1. Takes. Queen d7, rook f8. g3 computer likes, or takes a4. Yes, this is lost. h5. a5. White is also very active. h3, very good move. a6, very good move. Rook a6, queen c8. Queen b7, classy move. Rook g2, I guess king h1. Probably, right? Yes, both moves are winning. f1 or h1. Rook d8, a7. this, check, a8, queen f3, queen f7, queen g1, king g1. Yes, Mosesov tried, but this is lost because your rook does not have any squares to be placed. Yes. Yes, more or less we can say that from the start of the game, from the opening, white maybe got slightly preferable position, and especially after c4, d takes c, b takes c, c4. Maybe previously, instead of going knight c6, knight e4 would have been better for black, trying to equalize the position. Yes, and we are having against Alonso, Rosell, Alvar, knight f3, g3, bishop f5. Nowadays, maybe not that popular. Short castle, knight e7. And here b3, d3, c4 are possible, d3. And now e5, not even playing knight f6. This, and now knight f6. e4 move is possible. D takes c, d takes c. Why? Knight takes c4 is not possible. Let's say this. I'm taking, you are taking on e4. I should go. Yes, I'm having knight e4. You are playing rook e1. Yes, rook e1, knight e2, knight e5, or knight e4, bishop e4, rook e1, or knight takes e5. So queen e1, h6. Wow. You start e5. Why you are not playing knight f6? Yes, engine also shows e5. So what's the problem? Knight h4 is coming, or knight h4 is coming. Okay, this. Yes, now again I'm having b3, c4, knight bd2. Knight bd2 was played by Alonso. And now just d4. Because this, it was h6. Strongest continuation. No doubts Matthias knew this. Takes bishop e6 he went. Queen e2. And b5 he played bishop c5. b3. b5, but now white is better again. Some king h1, maybe moving the knight, pushing f4. Knight e1, very interesting idea, and then knight d2 f3, and then knight d3. Yes, never seen. Knight e1, yes. Bishop g4. Yes, something like knight d2 f3 would have been better, because this, yes, knight g2 is not that good after short castle, and players agreed in a draw. Let's see, round number 18. No, on 18th, he faced with the white pieces against Pansulaya. Very strong opponent, of course. d4, d5, c4 takes. We are having this position, and here Matthias goes knight c3. Usually Pansulaya plays some King's Indian defense or some modern Benoni or Benoni type of positions. But now this time for this game we see b4, d5, c4 takes, and now b5. So knight c6, bishop b3. b5 would have been the strongest. Bishop e7 takes. Queen takes d1, rook takes d1, bishop c5. Bishop d2, knight a4, h3, knight g5. Now bishop e7. King e7 by Levan Pansulaya. Bishop b2. Bishop a7. Knight e4. h6. Knight takes, pawn takes. Knight e4, f6. Yes, instead of f6, maybe you could also push g4. Bishop a4, threatening bishop c6, b5, rook c1, attacking the knight on c6. And now bishop b3. g4 again. So this, knight c5, takes, white is slightly better, g4 again, bishop e8, bishop e1, takes, e5, king d6, again e5, f4, very important move, takes, rook c8, king f2, e5, very important move, takes, check, king e6, check, king f5, rook c8, bishop c8. Again, slightly better position, but usually, and if black is playing precisely, black should achieve draw. And then h3, bishop b7, b3, knight c6, bishop c5, and now a5 or knight e7, takes, and here engines are saying 0.00. And this position, Matthias Blubaum managed to win against Levan Pansulaya, which is impressive. King f7, so this is already strange. What is this? Why do you go king e6 and then you go king f7? Why not king e5, let's say? What's the problem with this king e5 move? Yes, very strange, king f7. What is this? King f4, king e7. But still, even here, computer says black is okay. But king e6, king e3, king f7, king f4, king e7, b4, bishop c8, h4, king d6, bishop f5, bishop b7, pawn endgame is lost. King e7. Now, this move is the only move is to play. No, actually, you are having two moves: king c7 and bishop c6. This is already lost. King e3. No, but not because of king e3. g4, bishop b1, king d6, king d4, and now bishop d5. What about bishop c8? Just bishop e6. And if I take, you go king e6, king c6, I guess. Yes. Okay, this king c5, bishop g2, g4, bishop f3, g5. Yes, on bishop g2, bishop b7. Yes, if you go king d6, I guess bishop c8. Yes, maybe threatening king e6, that's why bishop h3. And now only bishop e6 wins. Bishop king d7 still possible. Bishop e6, bishop e2. Yes, king e6, bishop g8, bishop f7, and especially king here, bishop e8. Yes, bishop g6. Yes, he was very much lucky because such a classy player like Levan Pansulaya, and especially from that position, I would say drone endgame, bishop endgame, he slowly started creating problems for himself, and he won. 3.5 out of 4. Good start of the tournament, but at least twice in his first round game and of course fourth round game he was very much lucky. And he faced against Yilmaz Mustafa, Turkish player. So this is well known, and rook e8. Very interesting move. I very much recommend. Yanni Pomnishi recently played it against Sergei Drigalov. Also Aditya Mittal played against me. It was last year, 2024. Let's see, are we having... no one is really following us. Okay, bishop g3, b4 is possible, bishop g5 is possible. I think I played rook d1 in my game. I don't exactly remember, but it was maybe rook d1. My opponent anyway played d5, yes. I played bishop g5. Yes, already I'm in trouble. Bishop g5, d4. I was thinking to play knight... yes, this is already better for black. So b4. Yes, I think here bishop f8, bishop d6 is also possible, e5 is also possible. So bishop g5, only move. And now bishop d4. d4, bishop f6, g takes f. Bishop d4, what is this? He takes knight e2, h6, knight d4, knight d4. Why knight d4, e takes d, we are not taking knight d5 because... Yes. And c takes d. Bishop f5. Okay, this I recommend very much. So it was bishop f8, rook d1, and now bishop d7. This engine is recommending. It was e5, bishop g5, d4, and now Mustafa went knight d5, but computer says after knight d4 white is much better. I always thought Matthias is having like very good openings and he's always well prepared, but here we see that first round game against Mustafa, like knight e4. I don't know what exactly we are threatening, but some bishop f6. For example, h6, bishop takes g4, white is much better. Okay, knight d5, bishop e7, strongest continuation. So he didn't play e5, which would have been the strongest. So bishop takes, something like this I got against Aditya. So g6. Yes, knight f6, otherwise black wants to play bishop g7, short castle, bishop g7, so takes, short castle, I guess. Yes, bishop g4, bishop e4, rook c8, Matthias goes bishop e6, and now again white is better after knight d2, or even the way Mustafa played, rook d8, yes, c5, h3, rook e7, bishop f5 would have been stronger, rook here, rook c7, c5. So this is again very strange because let's say here you just go bishop g4, bishop e4, rook c8 and you don't have any problems. I think for such a strong player like Matthias this is not that hard. But he goes this, and from close to equal position he's getting this is already close to +1. And yes, queen b2, takes. It was, if I'm taking e takes d, I guess e takes d. It was queen e4 and now bishop d5. Definitely Yilmaz played bishop c6 with the idea to play queen e4, takes. Now bishop f3, of course queen f6, takes. Not queen c7 because of bishop d1 and d takes c. D takes c. Oh, this is important. You are taking and you are taking. Yes, and then you are taking and you are pushing e2. Okay, takes, g takes f, a5. Yes, rook d7 is also enough. Rook d4 takes. Rook e8 this, takes here. Huh. Computer was showing black is better, but yes, and here players agreed in a draw. Again, he was very much lucky and he was in trouble. 4 points out of 5. And whom did he face? With the white pieces, he won against. Oops, not this one. I apologize. He won against 25, 35 rated player from, I assume, Finland. Takes bishop f4, knight f6, e3, and bishop f5. Yes, queen b3 is the strongest continuation. Black is playing knight c6, and then g4. So knight f3. Again, several moves are possible. c6, short castle, maybe even knight d7. He goes h3, c6, and g4. Bishop g6, knight d5. And here knight bd7, knight g6, h takes g, bishop d3, white is better, knight fd7, takes and f takes g. Bishop g2, knight b6, short castle knight a6, white is better, queen b3, king h8, queen d7 was played, bishop g3. Yes, instead of going e4, which computer likes, knight e2, rook e8, rook d1. Yes, slowly black is equalizing, takes, knight f4. Maybe with the ideas to go knight d3 and then e5. Queen e7, knight b8 was played. Yes, white is better. This, queen c3. It was queen c7, rook e1, knight c4, a4, knight f6, b3, knight d6, f3, rook f7. Yes, rook f7 computer doesn't like. Something like a5 or g5. So this, knight f2 would have been stronger. I guess preparing the c4. But what's the problem if I'm playing? Yes, anyway, e4 is coming, huh? Yes, e4 is coming. In the end, black is getting checkmated. Yes, on 8th rank. Rook e2. Here, rook e1. Black does not have already any problems. Knight f7. Black is slightly better. F4 knight is coming back. Matthias goes knight e5. Yes, g5 is possible. This is possible. And then g5. Rook c2. And somewhere here, yes, black does not have any problems. a5, rook f1. Yes, I guess this king g8 was a huge inaccuracy. Something like knight g3, not the easiest, but queen d8, I think not that hard to see. Yes, because now f takes g works. And yes, you should play rook e6. Still game goes on. But this bishop d5. Maybe really Toivo, Keinan and blundered this bishop d5, after which game is of course over. Like you are in huge trouble. Such an important pawn on d5. And this, it was king g8, takes, and then e4, and then e5, takes, Queen e3 and bishop f1, very classy move. King g3, h4, queen e4 attacking the pawn, and eventually d5, queen d4. And in this position, queen d8 was played by Toivo Gainanen, and after queen f7, black, of course, got checkmated. Again, nothing special. Black was even better at some point. Not much, but slightly preferable. Okay, 5 points out of 6, and on 21st of March, players had rest day. On 22nd, already round number 7, he faced, whom did he face? With the black pieces, I guess. Somehow cannot see his name. Blue Bone, where is Blue Bone? I don't see him. Okay, well, Blue Bone, yes, he was playing Yufa. Daniel Yufa, who had amazing start of the tournament, 5 out of 5, and then he drew against Roberto Vanisian. In that game also he had chances, and round 7 he faced against Matthias Bilbao. Yes, nowadays black is trying some very concrete ideas with d5. Now we see b6. Different moves are possible. Matthias goes c3. And now c5. D takes c, b takes c, b4. So knight f3. Bishop b7, not the strongest. Again takes and b4. Again d5. C takes d. Very good move. Queen d4 and d takes d. And now just d5. Black does not have any problem. c5, knight d4. Instead of that, knight c6, b4. White is already better. Rook c8, queen b3, very classy move. Avoiding maybe some b5 ideas. Maybe knight f5, threatening bishop f3, bishop b2, knight d4, and d5. Yes, usually Matthias plays this type of positions very good. When he is better, he plays very good. So d takes c. Here after d5, black is in trouble. Rook e8 was possible. But Yufa likes creating this kind of chaotic positions. So takes, and yes, instead of taking c takes b, knight g5, queen d1, which would have been much stronger. Rook a d1 was played. And now b takes c, bishop c4. In this position, queen, no, not queen, knight e d6 or knight f d6 or knight g5. Yes, Daniel Yufa goes this. This is lost. This is completely lost according to computers. Knight g5, queen g5, g3. But that one is not very easy to play. But knight e1 objectively, I think if you go knight h3, maybe even I'm taking. Yes, I'm just taking. Yes, knight e5 and now bishop g2 takes this, but Matthias goes knight c6. And rook d3, very important move, and then f3. Very unpleasant position for black, takes bishop c1, attacking this knight and moving away, taking the pawn, and bishop d2. Yes, +1, very unpleasant position. King h1, good move. Queen c8 would have been maybe stronger. And now rook d2. Not lost, but +1. Computer likes more queen a4. Queen h5 was played, queen e1. Yes, after king h8, black is not that worse. Yes, queen f2 was finishing the game. Probably I'm winning your pawn on a7. Though, let's say if you are pushing a something, how am I going to take it? Like rook g1. Not really sure. Queen h3. Yes, king g1. g4, rook e1, and this is game over, of course. Takes, check, check, and then check, and then check, and queen d2, queen d4. Yes, nicely played game by Matthias Blübaum, and nice win over the leader of the tournament. Yes, once again, we should say that openings are not that good, because if black would play just d5. Okay, next round he was facing against Ari, 45. So Matthias Blübaum is having 6 points out of 7. With the black pieces against Aryan and bishop e2. Something very, very safe, very, very solid. But even from this position, Matthias managed to get huge problems. Bishop d6 or d6, short castle. I think recently Kirill Alexeyenko played against Deak Bogdan. c5 is possible, bishop e7, d3. Yes, knight e2, knight takes e2. Bishop g4. And if knight g3, maybe some knight h5 or what? h5. Wow. Okay, short castle, knight g3, and now equality. Rook e8, b3. Yes, bishop, and now d5. d5 is not that good. It takes the knight takes d5. Yes, you can take knight d5. Bishop f6 is coming. That's why bishop b2. Again, bishop d6 would have been stronger. Now d4. White is slightly better. He takes d knight d4. Bishop f8. Yes. c4. Queen f3. h3. Queen f3. Knight b4. Because this is already unpleasant. h4 is coming. Knight f5. Queen c7. He went this. And then queen c7. This is also possible. And knight e7. Yes, this. Takes rook d8. Queen c8. And players agreed in a draw. Surprisingly, computer is saying black is slightly better, but nothing, of course. So 6.5 out of 8. On 24th of March, he faced Bahadur Jobava. Bishop g4. Yes, here bishop f5 and e6 are the main moves. Bishop g4. Yes, we can see that Bahadur Jobava plays something very dubious. Knight e5. Bishop h5 he goes. And now f3. Knight d5. e4. Knight b4. Bishop e3. Stopping all queen d4 ideas. This takes bishop f7, but you are having some problems. f4, b6, bishop e2, bishop e7, short castle, rook c1, king h1, no, queen d2, maybe knight b6, maybe queen e8, king h1, queen e8, bringing the rook to d8, rook d1, f5, rook d8, queen e1, and now f5, b6, h3, again f5, h6, and now something like f5 or king h2, queen g3, again f5 or bishop h5, and eventually f5, takes, knight d5, not the strongest, queen f7 would have been better. Yes, here you can take knight d5, c takes the bishop h6. So what is this? Takes this, I am taking g takes h, and you are going queen h4. And then if I am taking here, you are taking on h6, and then maybe rook c3. Wow. Matthias did not see this. So takes queen h5, queen g4, takes. Yes, 93, it was this. Bishop g1 would have been stronger. King g8, king f7, takes. b5 was very important because this, now rook e6, and black is in huge trouble. Knight a5, very good move. Knight c6, b takes a, c4. Yes, this is already lost. c5 and rook a1. Yes, this is completely lost. Yes, it was this, and g takes f. Yes, nice win over Bahadur Jobava. From the opening, Matias got good position, and then of course he gave different chances to Jobava. Always black could try some f5, and black had close to equality. But Jobava didn't play f5 and slowly got some problems, and in the end lost the game. So it was 7.5 out of 9. 10th round on 25th. Whom I think he was playing maybe, yes, Gabriel Sargisian with the black pieces. So this is well known. c5 takes. This is known. e3 move. Some other moves are also possible. Knight f3, bishop b4, e3. Yes, takes. And now not short castle because of knight c6, a3. Bishop takes d2. Knight takes d2. Yes, here knight c6, bishop d7 are possible. Knight c6. It was knight f2, knight 2 f3, bishop g4, short castle, rook f c8, queen d3, a4, rook b1. Computer likes some bishop h5, bishop g6, h3, bishop d7, knight e5. White is better. But it's not much. Knight b3. Yes, something like rook bc1 or rook dc1. And eventually Gabriel went rook c1, takes, knight c4, rook c2, bishop d7, and after knight e1, Gabriel offered the draw, which is questionable because white is, according to engines, white is having advantage of 0.60. It does look definitely less than 0.60, but Gabriel decided to make a draw. Again, we see that out of the opening, Matias did not manage to equalize the game. And the very final game, on 26th, with the white pieces against Nijat Abbasov, they did not play really. We see only 5 moves and game ended in a draw, which was enough. Let's see the tournament standings. Yes, Matthias Blubaum and 3 players scored 8.5. I remember back in 2023, Also, three players scored 8.5. I think Alexei Sarana won the championship, and then we are having we had maybe even Kirill Shevchenko, and maybe also I think it was no, I don't remember. I don't remember. So 17 rating points. Matthias Blübaum increased. I think some years ago he had close to 26, 60, 70, even 80. Never crossed 2700. So big success for Matthias, no doubts. And I should inform you that in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, he won European Championship also. So this is his second win in European Championships. I think, if I'm not mistaken, no one has done it before. So only Matthias managed to win the European Championships twice. Amazing performance. He increased 17 rating points. And of course, we are having Frederik Svanne, another German player, very young, increased 14 rating points. Maxim Rothstein, 17 rating points. And Maxim is really back because at some point he even was below 2600, which is for such a strong player, you hardly believe Maxim not having 2600. So he managed to win last round game against Shant Sargsyan. And then we are having many players scoring 8 points out of 11. Daniel Yufa, Benjamin Gledura, Tari Aryan, Gabriel Sargsyan, Nijat Abbasov, Erdogmus, Gurel, Kantor, and Samadov. Of course, I should mention about Daniel Yufa, who is last few years, and especially last 2 years, he is really playing. He progressed and he improved a lot. And from 26 plus, he become 2650, and he continues increasing. And unfortunately, he lost his last round game against Frederik Svanne. Otherwise, he would maybe even win the title. And then, of course, very big congrats to Gabriel Sargsyan. I had opportunity to play with Gabriel for Armenian national team, and he qualified to World Cup. 8 points, decent and very big result, easily qualifying to World Cup. I should of course mention about three players: Gurel, Erdogmus, and Samadov. Samadov last round won against Vasily Vanchuk, and he's under 18. And of course about Gurel and Erdogmus, no questions. Like they are quite well known, and they increased some 4 and 13 rating points. Yes. Of course, congrats to Shant Sargsyan, who also managed to qualify. Maxime Lagarde also. Paul Velten, amazing performance. Of course, very big congrats to Haik Martirosyan, who also qualified. I don't say to Roberto Vanisian because last year he scored 8 points and he was really having a good tournament, but he lost a very important game against Badur Jobava. Again, very decent performance. He increased his rating. He was playing very good chess. Yes, congrats to the all players who qualified to World Cup. Congrats to the winners, top three players who finished the tournament in top three places. Yes, I think Ivan Šarić also qualified because last year I think he was the first player who did not qualify. Okay, this is about European Championship, and let's go and check another tournament, which was so. I want to show you some of the games of Nihal Sarin from uh, Agzamov Memorial in Uzbekistan, which ended maybe a few days ago. Many high-rated, strong players were competing, and first round game, Nihal was, I would say, lucky because up to this position, up to 35th move, his opponent Umarov Behruz was 22-18 rated player, was playing very decent chess, and here he made major blunder and entered to pawn endgame, which was lost for him. But objectively speaking, it's not that easy to understand and calculate that pawn endgame is lost. He played king e5, many moves like rook c5, and maybe white is having some small pressure, but it's not much. King e5 and now bishop c4. Of course, if you go rook c5, then rook b6 is coming, takes this, and now a4. Very important move, only move. So this f4 takes g5. Yes, it seems like black is the better side because you are having passed pawn, and at some point you can maybe come closer with the king to e3 pawn and maybe sacrifice pawn on c4 and take the pawn on e3. But it's very concrete, and now f5 is coming. If you take h takes g, then f6 finishes the game. So white is also threatening f5, f6. It was f6 and takes e4. Now simply you don't have any moves. If you go king b5, then e5 finishes the game. So this takes this, and here e5, this, and of course triangulation. If you go king e6, king e8, f7, king f8, white does not win. If you go king f5, then king f7. Yes, you go king f4. Now if king f7, king f5, and you are entering to king g6, and now king e4. Again, if you go king f7, king f5, and king e5 here, Umarov resigned because king e8, king e6, king f8, f7, and then I'm let's say this, then king e7. Of course, if you go king f7, just king f5 and king g6. Second round, Nihal Sarin was again very much lucky. Though he drew the game, but he was very much lucky. Which part? Okay, let's from the start. Yes, Nihal Sarin with the black pieces is playing Sumiya from Mongolia. E45, and here in this position D6. Not very rare move, but not that popular as well. D4 takes knight f6, bishop e7, rook e1. Here I would play bishop f1. Yes, black is having also knight d4, queen d4 c6 or bishop g4. So this bishop f1 I would play, bishop e2, c6, bishop f4, rook e8, bishop g3, and then f4. Yes, black could play queen b6. Yeah, bishop f3, rook b1, and now knight e5 or even d5, e5, knight e4, takes, rook d8, knight d6. So if you take bishop d6, takes rook d6, rook e8 is coming, but even that allows black to equalize the game. Rook e8, knight f8, bishop f2, and c5, queen e1. Yes, this move computer doesn't like because of this knight b5. And most likely Nihal either didn't see this knight b5 and then eventually knight a3, or he just wanted to continue the game, not get uh, equality. Yes, after knight a3, white is much better. Knight c4 simply wins the game because queen b5, queen d8, queen c4, just rook bd1. This, knight a c4, b5, knight a5, bishop d6, b5, stopping knight c4 ideas. c4, white is much better. Knight c2. Yes. Again, white is much better. Some rook d8. Computer likes rook 8 d8. Yes, rook f6. And here in this position, queen d7 would have been the strongest. Queen h5, bishop f5. Nihal played knight e5, queen takes h5, and white is again much better. This is queen g5, f6, queen e3, rook h5, bishop e3, bishop takes bishop f4. Black is in huge trouble after rook e6. Takes. Yeah, some equality. Takes. And here we are having some wrong broadcast, wrong moves. I don't think here h4 has been played. But anyway, we already saw that Nihal in a few moments of the game was very much lucky because evaluation was close to lost for him. Let's continue analyzing his games. So the third round game, he won. We don't need this one. We need this one. Yes. We aren't having the moves. Fourth game. Nihal had 2.5 out of 3. And fourth game he drew. E4 is another move for white to play a6. White is choosing between bishop takes c4 and a4. Again, c5 is possible, b6 is also possible, bishop takes bishop b7. Short castle. Bishop b4. Queen e2. Short castle rook d1. Knight d7. Bishop d3. Bishop d6. And black does not have any problems. Knight c3. c5. d5. E takes d. Knight takes d5. Yes, black simply could take knight d5, bishop d5, takes, knight f6. Nihal went knight e4, queen c2, knight f6, rook a3, bishop c6, maybe preparing b5, queen b8, rook b3, attacking this pawn on b6, knight d5, bishop d5, takes, rook e8, and then rook e6, b3, bishop b2, queen d3, attacking pawn on a6, knight h4, bishop takes, threatening queen g7 checkmate, f6. Yeah, some equality. And computer doesn't like this queen f7. Queen c7, rook e4 or queen e4 would have been enough to maintain the balance. Threatening some queen h5, king g1, very good move. Queen c2, threatening knight e7. Queen f2, white is much better. Queen f3 was much stronger. Computer likes king h8, knight g6, king h7, knight f8. So takes rook d8, knight d7, and here players agreed in a draw after rook e8, knight f5. Fifth round, Nihal won, I guess. Fifth round. Yes, fifth round he won. It was very long game against 24-33 rated player. d6, short castle, bishop e7, a4, bishop e6. Instead of going knight f6, this d3, takes, knight f6. White is slightly better. If you take on b4, I guess c3 follows. White is already much better with such a bishop on d8. All my pieces are very harmoniously placed. f5, knight h4, very good move. Queen h5, f4, g3, king h7, g takes, and then e5. And then rook takes, white is completely winning. Bishop b2, not the strongest, I guess. Strongest would have been queen e2. Something like queen g6, king h8, d takes c. And then rook d3. Rook e6, queen f7, very good move. This takes, d takes c, takes. White is still much better. Rook a1, not the strongest. King f4, very good move. Rook b8. Rook b5. No, but this is lost. Bishop a5, rook e5. And this position is lost. Recently, I was studying, checking some games, and saw that someone lost two rooks against rook and bishop. Preparing f4, I guess. f4, king h3. This, check. This, and eventually f7. Nihal 4 out of 5. And then he won. Nice game, I would say. Starting from this position. White is maybe tiny better. Rook a4. Takes and rook b7. Threatening rook b4. White is not worse. White is maybe even better after g3. King c2. Rook b4. Bishop g1. Not the strongest. Takes this, d5. And now if you take e takes, rook d5. Rook c1 is coming. You continue king b2, rook e1, king c2. You are not worse. a3. And now bishop c5. This position is already very unpleasant. Like the best now is to take e takes, bishop c5, knight c5, king a2. So after takes this, but this is already lost. d4 or bishop d4. Bishop d4, e takes d. Knight is jumping to f4. Pawn is coming to d3. King d7. g3 was tried. H takes g. This, but this, and king c5, d3 is coming. Such an important win with the black pieces against Abdisalimov Abdimalik by Nihal. And he was 5 out of 6. He faced leader of the tournament, Sanan Sugirov. It was like very, very long, and I can say Previously, somewhere here, Nihal is much better because he has some attack and he allowed this move, which, yes, bishop c3, bit takes c, and some rook e8. This is already complicated. I can say that here, knight f8, g6, f takes g, equality, rook e5, f takes g, rook c7, g takes h, rook f3. Yes, black is already better and much better. Queen f3 threatening some queen f8, rook c8. This is already winning for black. Yes, no need for a4, just rook e8. Yes, computer doesn't like this a3, rook g5. Now c5, rook g5, black is winning. And this is some equality. And again, black is winning. Queen b1. This should end in a draw. But we don't have any more moves. So against Sanan, he was much better after the opening. And then it was round equal. Later on, it has become winning and completely winning for Sanan Sugirov. And then again, close to equality. But in the end, we aren't having more moves. He I think he continued. Yes, he drew against. He was 6 out of 7. He drew against Puranik Apimanyu. Bishop e7, and here bishop g4 without h3, h6, bishop h4. Queen b3, knight f3, queen c2 are the moves. f3, bishop e6, bishop d3, c5. Knight d2, knight c6. Short castle, short castle. Rook c1, king h1, c takes d, h6. Computer doesn't like this bishop f6. Something like bishop f4 or bishop h4. So takes, d takes c, very concrete. d4, queen e7 was also possible. Computer doesn't like d4 because after it takes d, knight d4, knight, not really knight takes d4, bishop d4 was played. And now knight f4. If I would take knight d4, then knight d4 is coming, I guess. So this engine stopped working for some reason. Knight d4 is coming. Bishop d4. Knight f4. Bishop c8. White is better. Queen d2, for example, and then rook a d1. Queen g5. Bishop c3. Queen takes. G6, Rook D8, King G7, and G4. Takes, Rook C1, Rook D4. Maybe black is slightly better according to engines, but not much, of course. Game ended in a draw. Round 9. So 6.5 out of 8. Round 9, Nihal faced against Tin Jingao. Again, I want to skip. Most of the game was around equality. And only here, after King E7, black does not have any problems. Even King D7 move is possible. King F6, King E8. But King E7 is much stronger with the ideas to play Knight A7, Knight B5, Knight C3. Here, Tin Jingao played Knight E5 and maybe missed or blundered Knight B2. F4 is coming. So after Knight E5, Knight B2, white is winning. And takes. Knight B3 back. And here, either Tin Jingao resigned or just lost on time. So it was 7.5 out of 9. Round 10, he played against Vohidov, Petrov, short castle, bishop e7, and rook e1, bishop f1. D5, D4, C6, and now computer likes C4, H3, H6, bishop D3, bishop D6, Knight D5, C5, takes, Knight C3, Knight C6, bishop F4, maybe very slightly better for white. Knight E5 is possible, bishop D7 is possible, rook a D1, bishop B5, Shamsidin went, rook C8. Wow, 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 what is this? This is interesting because here black had bishop D7 or queen C8 or even D4. So rook C8. Why knight takes C6 was not played? Let's say if I'm taking, you should take b takes C. I'm playing bishop A6. Computer says rook b8 takes or rook c7 takes. Maybe some d4, but d4 bishop c8 is coming. Rook c7. Wow. It was a3. Bishop d6. Rook a d1. Rook e7. Knight f3. Takes. Queen b6. And white is still better. Takes. Much better. Yes, no need for f4. Something like knight e2. Rook d2. g4. f5. Engines aren't recommending f5. Rook e2. takes, king e7, king d6, and black does not have any problems. Game ended in a draw. I close this. Let's see the final result on chess results. So Nihal Sarin won the tournament 8 points out of 10. He increased his rating about 7 points. Sanan Sugirov and 3 other players shared second and fifth places. Sugirov finished on second, increasing about 11 rating points. Puranik Apimanyu third, Daneshvar fourth, and Vohidov fifth. Yes, all of them except Daneshvar and Vohidov also. Vohidov lost about 7 rating points, Daneshvar about 5, Puranik increased, and Sugirov as well. And then in Jingyao, 6th place, Indich 7th, Nesterov 8th, Begmuratov 9th, Aditya Mittal 10th, Pranet Bhupala 11th, SL Narayanan 12th, Almaz Rahmatulayev 13th, Sergei Lobanov 14th, and Suyarov 15th, Madaminov 16th, Tivyakov 17th. All those players scored 7 points out of 10. And then we see Mendonca, Rostovtsev, Atiban, Lalit. Let me see, are we having any questions? Please, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will be just playing maybe some games. Okay, 20. d5, d takes c, knight f6, but not knight bd7. Let's take. I guess queen c7 is the move to play. Knight c6, a6. Ah, this move is there. I should play b4, I guess. Okay, what about bishop b7? Okay, let's try. Should I play a6 or... Okay, let's play a6. I'm not sure about the compensation I'm having. Yes, I was thinking about bishop c5 to play. Maybe short castle. But what about rook fd8? Maybe some activity. Knight d5. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What about knight f4? Okay, what is happening? Knight f4, bishop h7, king h7. I will be playing queen g4. Let's say knight d3, knight takes d3. Yes, but I should of course play this. Knight d3, knight d3, bishop f8 is my idea to play. What's this? He was threatening checkmate. I very much hope that knight before is not really working. Yes, let's play rook c8. Mhm. Let's try maybe some queen a5 or a5. Okay, let's say a5. h4, this we see. Say bishop d5 or bishop a6 I'm having maybe. Knight f4, rook d2. I want to play this and then f6 ideas maybe, but it's wrong idea, I guess. Not really threatening bishop takes. Okay, let's say f6 eventually. What am I blundering? Okay. No, this is... Just forgot about this. What am I doing? Oh, I was lost. The idea is maybe to push c5. Yes, but what if I take? Mm-hmm. Yes, but I'm having many interesting moves, like rook a d8 I'm having, and then let's say this, bishop d6. Knight d6, bishop e5, rook e6, c5, rook d6, queen d6. Sasha, Sasha. Rook e6, c5, knight f5, queen e6, rook e6, c5, rook f6, rook f6, rook e6, c5, rook d6, queen d6. I like my position. Mm-hmm. Takes. Knight b3. Okay. Maybe some queen e7, then queen e5. Okay, queen e7. Yes, but this I saw. That will take. That will go this. My point was queen e5 to play. Okay. Okay, nothing is working. Bishop g3, f takes g, rook e3. Queen f5, rook e1. What is this? Rook e3, rook e3. First maybe check or takes. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much, dear friends.